folks. Today is Thursday, May 5th. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald, Auger, and over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news of the day and providing expert analysis on each of these stories. What it means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry, I guarantee you there's going to be something here for you to take away. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations? Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware attack and get your business back on track. I want to remind you, if you hold a professional certification that requires CPEs, each episode of First Things First is worth half a CPE, which stacks. 2.5 a week, 10 a month. You get the idea, guys. I'd argue it's the most enjoyable and, educational, fun, easy way to get CPEs, which can usually be a pain in the butt. If you're live, love it. I see you guys stacking up in here, 34 of you in the first couple minutes. Very nice. Thanks for being here. Good morning to all of you. If you're watching on replay, thanks for catching the stream. It's just as good. A lot of people like to make it live, but I'm telling you, the replay, it's got value just the same. If you want to jump right to the news, if you're watching on replay, when the ticker gets to the corner, I've moved it underneath the First Things First based on some feedback. We'll give it a shot. Let me know if you like the timer over there versus next to my face where I can point at it. But long story short, when it gets to 0, we're going to start the story. So grab the timer, slide it over, unless you want to hang out with us for the next 1 minute and 23 seconds while we welcome people to the stream. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, David Neese. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling well. Hope the recovery is going great for you. Your updates on LinkedIn look good. Cracking me up. Moni, Ryan, Ron, Clark. What's up, dude? Happy Cinco de Mayo. Official alcohol day in the United States. Leonardo, good to see you. Spastic, what's up? Oh, you like the timer position. Thank you for that. Top of the morning to you. Hey, guys, couple Simply Cyber production notes. Okay, first off, you may have noticed the microphone is it's right here. You can kind of see it. I've moved it off camera a little bit so I have more visibility of my screens, and I don't want it in front of me. So let me know how the audio is. I did some testing yesterday, and it sounded like it was pretty good. Nathan Bolin, Carrie, Christopher Word, Lancy, what's up, man? Elroy, good to see you. Hey, Wayne, always nice. Ashley Matthews, good to see you. Matthew Dimmick on LinkedIn. Cheers, everybody. Also, guys, got a little bit of feedback on the Discord server. I don't know if you can tell. I upgraded hey, listen, squad support. You guys to pay these great little monthly membership fees for Simply Cyber Squad. I really appreciate it. I took some money from that little fund and I upgraded. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm coming through in 1080p right now, people. This is 1080p. This is what it looks like when you upgrade your Restream feed from the base model to the professional model. I guess professional means full HD. So can we get me in full HD? Like I can fill the whole screen. All right. Hopefully it looks good, guys. I'm trying to make this a great production for everybody, myself and you. Hey, Peter Parker. I'm going to try to run with the audio, maybe talk a little loud, bump the gain up. I'm not sure. We're going to do the best we can. Oh, and one other production note you guys will love. I have been hearing for months, really, that when I turn the story back on, it starts off low and then ramps up audio-wise. And it's really annoying for a lot of people. And I have been trying to figure it out because I don't hear it that way. I hear it the way it's supposed to be. I've discovered a setting, thanks to Clintbo Dungeon, in Restream that I have turned off. So today, you should be getting the audio for the podcast like immediately at full volume. It was trying to stabilize the audio from all the different sources, and that's what the problem was. So let's give it a rip, guys. It's all about making First Things First baller. It is Cyber Stream Thursday, so we got a lot to do, so let's hop into it, okay, guys? If you want to play along, go to cisoseries.com. David Spark and his gang, they're always delivering high heat, and that's where we get our stories. So let's jump right into it and hear the news for the day.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Thursday, May 5th, 2022. Cuckoo Bees campaign stings targets for years. The APT WinT, otherwise known as barium or blackfly, has been active since 2010 and suspected of working on behalf of the Chinese government. Researchers at CyberReason published a report on a WinT campaign called Operation Cuckoo Bees that's been ongoing since 2019, focusing on stealing proprietary information from technology and manufacturing companies across Europe, Asia, and North America. The researchers found the group used a multi-stage infection chain, starting with targeting ERP software, ultimately combining known vulnerabilities and 0 days to gain network access and drop a web shell for persistent access. The campaign also targeted WinRM over HTTP and print notify Windows services to create backup and sideloaded access. The investigation is still ongoing, with CyberReason only sharing a partial list of indicators of compromise at this time.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot going on here, guys. If you are interested as a security researcher, if you are an offensive security professional who's, I would argue, like, any level could appreciate this story, but if you're a more seasoned offensive security practitioner, you might find real value in this story and mechanisms you can take advantage of. They say rarely seen Windows mechanism, but based on the story, they are chaining together quite a few things, right? So they're doing Exchange Server Proxy Logon, which, by the way, was one of the most exploited vulnerabilities in 2021, according to reports. Also, they're exploiting vulnerabilities in ERP software, which, by the way, is not Windows. ERP software is like larger organizations will use ERP software for integrating like user access management, payroll, finance and accounting. It's like a big business software that kind of helps you run a big business. Again, so not Windows. Again, considering the title of this story, you don't really get into what I would consider the rare feature. I believe it's the stash log thing that they're using on the Windows common log file system, which I'm not familiar with, CLFS. I know Windows logs, but I didn't know they were called CLFS. And they have this persistent mechanism that they're using with the WinRM, which I've heard of WinRM, so I don't know if I would consider that rarely seen. So, whatever. This is a splashy grab your face and look at me, read me headline, but they're leveraging a lot of known vulnerabilities, exploits, etc. It doesn't make it any less serious, right? I mean, they're obviously an advanced persistent threat. China has very good APT capabilities. They are a first world cyber power. So definitely, stand up and take note if you are a large, if basically this is really interesting in general, but if you work and support like a financial services client, preferably like a Fortune 50 one, or if you support federal government, you may want to dig into this a little bit more because it is germane to what you're doing.
Health and Human Services hammered over security. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services conducted an internal security audit and ruled that its information security program was ineffective for the fourth consecutive year. This audit looked at if the department was in compliance with the Federal Information Security Modernization Act of 2014. The audit found HHS did not meet adequate levels of maturity in its ability to identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover functions for security issues. The audit acknowledged that HHS is aware of these issues and is in the process of improving toward compliance.
All right. Here's a dirty secret. Okay. So first of all, HHS, they're Health and Human Services. They're kind of the federal government agency over healthcare. And the Office of Civil Rights, which is a department or bureau or whatever you want to call it, underneath HHS, is responsible for investigating and levying fines for HIPAA violations, right? So your your healthcare data gets out, et cetera. Okay. It sucks that HHS is basically just being made kind of a poster child here. Guys, I worked in federal IT for 6 or 7 years. FISMA, which is what they're talking about. FISMA is a standard that it came out in like 2006 or 2009, and it's been re-upped, right? They say FISMA 2014, but excuse me, it was updated. And basically it's really hard. Okay. It's like a medium or moderate level baseline of NIST 853 controls across an entire agency. And this is actually why it's not really possible for a lot of these organizations to do it. They're supposed to report to Congress their FISMA compliance. And what ends up happening in reality is they have tons of deficiencies. They report them on a POAM, a plan of action and milestone, which is basically just a register of your gaps. And then you have a 3-year plan where you're going to fix them. And then, but you just keep kicking them down the road and like, oh, we were going to do it, but then we decommission that software, or we got new software, or congressional requirements changed, or insert excuse here that is plausible. And somebody in the organization, somebody at HHS is responsible for authorizing that system. In all of my time, I have never seen a system not authorized. When I worked in the military space, there was one system for the Marine Corps because they had something called DIACAP, which was like FISMA-ish for the DoD. I saw one time where it got denied, and it was basically denied for like a month. And like, go fix this one thing. And I think it was more a power move than it was like actual security, right? So the fact that HHS's program is not effective, they must really be in bad shape for it to get called out like this. And you can see deemed ineffective for the 4th consecutive year. This is like what I'm talking about. Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. Listen, it's just persisting along the lines. It's like, oh, it moves as slow as government, right? But this isn't good, guys. And this, by the way, this is why you're seeing the extension out to via 800-171 organizations that support federal programs. I want to say it's the FAR CUI, which is basically going to be like CMMC ish. That's coming soon, requiring anyone doing work within the government, like, so say like like we collectively start the Simply Cyber Consulting Company, we would have to comply with those standards. They're trying to spread out the security controls because the federal government isn't good at doing these, right? And obviously we saw OPM get breached massively a few years ago. And I mean, basically there's a lack of there's a lot of problems, honestly, on why they can't achieve this effectiveness. But this is a whole thing. And it sucks again that HHS was made a martyr. They were probably told after because you're supposed to renew every 3 years. So the fact that it's the 4th consecutive year means that they didn't do anything through that entire 3-year cycle. At least that's my take on it and my perception based on my experience and reading like 10 seconds of this article. All right, cheers.
Docker images used to DDoS Russian sites. A group of pro-Ukrainian actors believed to be backed by the country's IT army targeted 24 domains, including sites belonging to the Russian government, military, and media, like the TASS news agency. Security researchers at CrowdStrike observed 2 Docker images used in the attacks between February and March. Combined, the images have been downloaded over 150,000 times. It seems the DDoS targets were picked randomly at first, although later images were uploaded with time-based selection and a hard-coded list of targets.
Okay, hey, I'm sorry if I missed this one a little bit, right? So, okay, so a couple of quick things here. So Docker is a technology or like a paradigm or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it takes like an entire app and kind of containerizes it, which is the right term to use. And like basically all the dependencies, all the right drivers, like all the crap that would cause your application to break on someone else's computer is removed. And that's why people use Docker images, because it's awesome, right? You basically take a snapshot of the working app and then you containerize it, and then someone can plug it into their Docker instance and Docker will run it, and it makes things work better. Okay. It also allows you to share and stuff like that. So pro-Ukrainian hackers use Docker images at Russian sites. So I wasn't sure if they were malicious Docker images, be like social engineering or tricking people into using it. It sounds like the Ukrainian IT army. Wow. Actually, now this is really resonating with me. Okay. So what it sounds like they're doing is, because there's so many people that want to help the Ukrainian IT army, and many of them, I would assume, okay, I don't want to get any hot comments back at me. I would assume that there is a various level of skill involved, right? So you've got your advanced actors who are helping, but then you have a ton of people who are volunteering that are script kiddies, don't know what they're doing, right? They just want to be told what to do. By giving them Docker images, that are preloaded with distributed denial of service targets, like you can see right here, right? Doink, all these things. You basically containerize it, and all you have to do is tell a script kid, listen, put this Docker in your thing and turn it on, and we'll take it from there. It's like opting into a botnet. It's like the low orbit ion cannon, if you're old enough to remember that. It's kind of like that, except they've Docker containerized imaged it. So whatever. I think that this is good for if you're pro Ukraine IT army. This is a good thing because basically they're pre-configuring weapons and giving them to people who aren't advanced enough to really understand how to use these images, or don't have the time to make their own denial of service botnet and all that stuff. This is how I'm reading into it. Again, I missed part of the story, but if that's exactly what they're doing, pretty clever. It's a pretty clever way of maturing and increasing the effectiveness and the capability. And oh, by the way, I'm not 100% sure on how Docker images work, but if they are centralized, you could update the targets, right? So like, let's say they want to add another target here, they could update that, and it would technically push down when the Docker images update itself. So then now you have centralized management from a head of whatever the IT army is. Interesting.
GitHub to require 2FA. The Microsoft subsidiary announced it will require developers who contribute code to use two-factor authentication in an attempt to improve the security of the software supply chain. The change won't be coming overnight. GitHub says the requirement will come into effect at the end of 2023. Enterprise customers will also be able to require developers to use 2FA when accessing their repositories, not just contributing code. Currently, only 16.5% of GitHub users use 2FA. GitHub will allow for mobile push notifications and hardware security keys as a second factor.
All right, guys, this is great news. 2FA for GitHub. Microsoft owned GitHub. They could totally do this. The Microsoft owned GitHub comes at a time of high anxiety in the enterprise. You guys see this? High anxiety. Rising attacks in supply chain jumped 300%. My only quip with this whole story is that basically 83.5% of all GitHub users use two-factor auth. Okay. And you got to remember, there's probably a ton of GitHub users that are stale, so it's probably higher than that of active GitHub users. But dude, the end of 2023, this is where I get off the train and I'm like, come on, man. Like here, what the hell is end of 2023? Guys, it's what, May? That's 5, 7, 12, 19 months from now? 19 months? Bruh, can we not move a little bit more like agile? Whatever. I understand that this might break some production things, but dude, come on. We managed to go from like at work office to remote workforce almost predominantly in like 3 weeks in March of 2020. I think we can figure out 2FA in less than 19 months, right? If it truly, this isn't like a feature request that they're rolling out. Hold on, this is pissing me off now. This isn't a feature request that they're rolling out. They're literally quoting that it's high anxiety in the enterprise, 300% increase. I don't know about you guys, but like if any of my things that I like go up 300%, like my bank account, I'm excited. If things like the amount of attacks against me go up 300%, I'm not pumped, right? I'm wishing I wore my brown pants to work that day. So come on, man, 19 months? Annoying. Like how about I don't know, can we start rolling out like optional audit, like opt-in, like hey, like a pop-up every time, like hey, do you want to, like all these websites do it now, right? When was the last time you logged into a website? Probably this week. And it's like, hey, do you want to double check your MFA? Hey, do you want to check your backup recovery codes? Hey, is this information still accurate? Like, bro, 19 months, WTF. I'm not come on. Yeah, you can do better than that, Microsoft.
Now let's thank today's episode sponsor, T, which contains 175 billion parameters, roughly the same size as OpenAI's GPT-3 model. This isn't a coincidence. It was designed to match GPT-3 on accuracy with language tasks. The company released the model as available for non-commercial use for free. For comparison, OpenAI offers GPT-3 as a paid service, but does not share its code or the model itself. Meta will also be releasing its code and a logbook that documents its overall training process from October 2021 through January 2022, inviting other researchers to further study the model. Meta audited OPT to remove some harmful behaviors, but Meta researchers acknowledged that releasing it is a non-zero risk in terms of harm.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there is potential that there could be some harm by releasing this. But what I will say, my thoughts on this are not so much about Meta, not so much about AI language and stuff like that. My thing is around public review. Okay. I am super pumped that Facebook, aka Meta, is doing this. Guys, it's like the equivalent of open source software. Like with cryptographic algorithms, with something as important and as powerful as this, and I don't pretend to be a machine language uh, uh, like ML AI expert or anything like that. I've dabbled with data science. I find it fascinating, but I don't have the time or really the right scaffolding to help me learn ML AI. But I think it's great. By putting this up for public scrutiny, there is going to be so much benefit from not just security vulnerabilities, but like inherent biases, the amount of research that academics can take advantage of leveraging this in order to make it a better product. For me, seeing something like this is a win for society because if this, I mean, it seems like MLAI is the way, right? There's a lot of stuff baking it in, and it's not just a buzzword anymore. If that's the way, then I want something that's going to be like the language that everybody uses. In this case, GPT-3, I guess. I want it to be publicly reviewed, dude. Anybody that develops their own thing in house and keeps it like closed source, but it's like 3 developers. Yeah, the 3 developers think it's the hotness, but in most chances, there's tons of things that they've overlooked or missed that can get exploited. And guys, once this thing's out there and baked into things, it's hard to put that toothpaste back in the toothpaste jar. No, in the tube. It's hard to put it back in the tube. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. Whatever you want to say. So getting it right up front is definitely the right way to do it. I'm really interested to see where this goes. I hope that this really does turn into like a public review, and more importantly, it only matters if Meta does something with the feedback to make the language better. Just putting it out there for public review and scrutiny and not doing anything about it is basically a PR move just to get your solution or whatever you want to call this language out into market. So let's hope that September 7th, 2022, First Things First is talking about Meta improving this language based on feedback.
Google removes billions of ads in 2021. The search giant revealed that as part of its crackdown on deceptive advertising practices, the company removed 3.4 billion ads last year, restricted an additional 5.7 billion ads, and suspended over 5.6 million advertiser accounts, triple the number in 2020. Google said bad actors continue to try and find ways through its systems, like creating thousands of accounts simultaneously and using text manipulation to show different content to reviewers. This comes as Google has implemented a 3 strikes rule for ads that contain deceitful practices, dangerous products, or inappropriate content. Of the removed ads, 19% were pulled for abusing the ad network.
All right. So, God dang. We read a story, or we heard a story yesterday together about Google removing like 1.5 million malicious apps, or preventing 1.5 malicious apps from being made available in the Google Play Store, saving billions of people, as the story reported. Now we're talking about Google blocking malicious ads, right? This is cool. Like, way to go, Google. I know that their model used to be do no evil, and they abandoned that, I guess, when they started to do evil. But hey, you know what? Like, good with the bad, I suppose. They are helping protect end users from themselves. And we've talked in the past about how like the forks of the Android OS are a little bit harder to maintain, but I really feel if you stick to the Google line of phones like Pixel, or you go Samsung, I've heard good things about Samsung keeping close to the root tree of the operating system, you will be able to take advantage of the updates and stuff like that. Now, I know this isn't part of the operating system. This is Google managing from within their own network and preventing ads from being popped. But, you know, threat actors are going to abuse the ad network at your like you're going to be a victim. I don't know what the right word is, right? Coffee's doing the opposite today, right? So good on them. You know, like here's the thing. Think about this for a second, guys. Okay, I know Google's like a Fortune 3 company, so they've got money for days. But dude, abusing the ad network would probably like if they allowed ad network abuse to happen, they would probably get more ad revenue because there'd be more ad crap going on, right? So my initial thought is based on this, like good on Google for like, you know, basically seeing the long play here that you'd rather have a happy user ecosystem than just trying to squeeze every single dollar out of every single opportunity. Again, they've got money like for days and influence and power and all that crap. So maybe the amount of money that they would get from allowing ad network abuse would be insignificant to the PR and the happy user base, but definitely interesting. I'll put a link to this report down in chat if you're interested in privacy and you know what this report is here. Let me drop this in chat for y'all. I don't know. Hey, mods, I don't know if you guys did that, but it wasn't part of the normal stories. Let's keep rolling.
SafeGraph to stop selling Planned Parenthood location data. Earlier this week, Motherboard reported that it was possible to buy the location data of people visiting Planned Parenthood sites specifically, including where they came from and went afterwards, from the data broker SafeGraph as part of an overall family planning centers category. After the report, SafeGraph released a statement saying that in light of potential federal changes in family planning access, it'll remove that category from its self-service shop and API to stop any misuse of data. SafeGraph maintains that it does not sell data on individuals, but it does sell device-specific location data in certain instances.
Okay, so this is good, guys. Okay, couple things here. One, obviously, in the United States right now, I know we have an international community in the Simply Cyber morning threat briefings, but listen, in the United States right now, the Supreme Court, which is like the high-ranking court, it's been leaked that they're about to overrule a famous landmark case called Roe versus Wade, which will basically make abortions illegal, right? And I'm not going to get political here on whether pro-choice, pro-life, which side you're on, but there's a lot of individuals who are very passionate about this that burn down Planned Parenthood clinics, that harass and attack individuals who are seeking abortions or seeking information on abortions or part of that whole ecosystem. Doctors have been attacked and killed. All right. So what is happening here? So data broker SafeGraph, who sells location data, is going to stop selling it because people can basically weaponize it, right? Now, they say that they're not releasing individuals, but guys, they have unique phones. I don't know about you, but like I don't swap phones with people. My phone is basically part of my person. So, and by the way, like this is a crime of opportunity. These individual, like people who are, from what I've seen and heard and read, the people who are attacking individuals in these type of cases, it's not like it's BSEC, I'm going to attack him. It's more like, oh, this is just a person. I don't care who they are, what their background is, what their politics are, what their religion is. This is a person who's going to do something or is engaging in activity that I am vehemently opposed to. I'm going to attack them, right? So there's a lot of abuse potential here. Now, here's the thing. This information has been available for a while, and just because of the Supreme Court justice ruling that's about to come down or is alleged to come down, like it doesn't change. Roe versus Wade has been in place since the 70s, I believe. So this data could have been used and weaponized this way for some time already. So them pulling it right now, I mean, maybe they saw an uptick in people buying this data, but it's not like the Supreme Court ruling is causing a catalyst event of something. Like this has already been a thing for people. So long story short, dude, location data, God, it sucks. It's like we're literally wearing homing beacons, right? So privacy, man, Yeah, people can map out exactly where you are and what you do, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't uniquely identify you because it uniquely identifies your phone, which is part of your person. And by the way, based on the research I've seen, most people have a pretty regular routine. Like, here's where I go to get coffee, here's where I go, the couple restaurants I eat at, here's where my kid's school is, here's where I work at, here's the grocery store I go to at, and like 90% of the time you're staying inside that box. So it's pretty easy to map you.
Ransomware linked to North Korea. Trellix researcher Christian Beek
Lazarus
documented
group.
a new ransomware strain called VHD that he traced to APT-38, a threat group with ties to North Korea. VHD has been used in ransomware attacks on global finance systems and crypto exchanges since at least March 2020. North Korea frequently uses ransomware and other cyber attacks to help raise money for the state. Beek found code similarities with known North Korean code in VHD and saw an overlap in the Bitcoin addresses used to send ransom payments with known North Korean wallets. Every day.
Hey, wait a minute. APT 38, Lazarus Group, APT. What is it? I don't think they're 38, aren't they? Oh, they are 38, right? Yeah. Okay, so this isn't a surprise, guys. I didn't think it was 38, but North Korea basically, as far as I know, I like to qualify everything now since I got put on blast earlier this week. North Korea, as far as I know, has three main APTs. Okay, one is for spy or looking at their own citizens. One is looking at adversaries of North Korea, and then one is for financial gain, right? And that's Lazarus Group, aka APT 38. They have a couple of the names. These people are very good at getting money. It's like cyber crime finance is basically one of their gross domestic products. Famously, the Bangladesh bank heist. There's a wicked good darknet diaries on this, and also you can get it anywhere. But they tried to steal $1 billion, and they were almost successful except for a typo. So the fact that Lazarus Group is using a new variant of ransomware, it's interesting, but it's not really newsworthy because, I mean, you can get ransom. There's like so many different ransomware groups out there now. The fact that they're saying it's linked to North Korea, basically they're using similar Bitcoin addresses. Maybe some of the code and the mechanisms is the same, but I'm not surprised, guys. Like, ransomware makes so much money right now. It's ridiculous. Like, look at Conti or Revil or that group out in Russia where the guy had like the $1 million wedding, right? Very, very outspoken about how much money they're making from ransomware. Why wouldn't North Korea go that way? You don't need to be secret squirrel espionage doing thefts like that when you could just do what everybody else is doing with ransomware. And you're probably more capable of executing on it because you have advanced level operators on your team. So this is just, whatever. This is kind of I don't want to call this a throwaway story, but this isn't really newsworthy to me, honestly, because North Korea has been doing this for quite some time. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today's threat briefing. I want to take just a minute of your time and remind you guys in just a few minutes, Josh Mason's going to be reporting live from San Diego, Way West Hackin' Fest. Apparently, he may have gone live already. I don't know. But hop over to Java with Josh, Cyber Insecurity. Here, I'll drop this in chat. Where's my chat window? Here we go. For my YouTube peoples, there you go. You can run over there right now. That's happening right now. Later today, Outpost Gray and Jack Scott will be talking to David Libby about PR. So this is great. Like, Jax is bringing kind of tangential topics to cybersecurity professionals, and especially like folks who are interested in kind of consulting or business, right? There's more than just configuring firewalls, guys. If you really want to like start consulting and stuff like that, you need some of these kind of additional skills. And then, of course, guys, later today, we will be talking with Dr. John Helmus all about tattoos, and we're going to be looking at tattoos. Please join us. This is going to be a really fun, carefree episode of Simply Cyber Live. John's a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in a minute, so we'll be, grab assing and catching up and stuff like that. So hopefully, if you like tattoos, if you like the discussion on whether or not tattoos are appropriate in the workforce or in corporate America, maybe COVID and remote work has changed some of the rules. I don't know. We're going to find out because John definitely has tats. that are visible. And he's worked for federal government. He's worked for Fortune 5 companies, right? So he's going to have some experience and some stories to share with us. I hope you can join us. Again, thanks everybody for being here, giving me feedback. I'll go back and watch comments. I'd love to know how the mic looks or sounds. I'd love to know how the 1080p stream looks. So I'll definitely get into that. If you guys got value out of the episode, take like 4 seconds and hit the like button. I know if you're on LinkedIn that you can't do that. That's cool. I hope you got value out of it. Obviously, guys, I've been looking at the metrics. 48%, 47% of people watching the stream are not subscribed to Simply Cyber. We are doing more than just the morning threat briefing. We're doing What's on Your Radar on Friday with senior experts. We're interviewing people long form on Thursdays like John here. We're doing a couple other things. I play a simulator on Wednesdays and test different cybersecurity frameworks. So we've got a lot going on. Oh, the link's not working. Let me check that out. Hold on 1 second. Let's do this live. Okay, here. Maybe he pulled it down. Maybe he pulled it down. You know what we can do too? Simply Cyber is going to restream it. What the hell? Simply Cyber is going to restream it, so we might be able to do this too. Like, check this out. You go to simplycyber.io /streams. I don't know if it's going to work because I'm live streaming currently too. Yeah, right here. Here, try this out. This is my restream of the broadcast, but it should work just the same. There we go. Hopefully that works for y'all. Oh yeah, Carrie's subscribed. Yeah. All right, guys. This is gonna do it. We've all got some work to do today. Thursday's a good day. I'm working on a new course actually. I mean, it's for ThreatGen, but all right, guys. This has been Simply Cyber. It's been May 5th. I hope you guys are great. I will see some of you later today in any of these streams that we talked about. But if you're just a morning threat briefing person, that's awesome. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. It's May 5th. Y'all have a great one. We'll talk soon.